Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today we're going to be doing a 24-hour reading challenge, which I have not done this since I want to say grade 8 or 9. It's been a while. For context, I'm in my 4th year of university. I thought today was the perfect day to do it because it's my last couple days of winter break before the winter semester starts. Today and tomorrow are the only days I don't have any social plans. I just have an appointment later today at 4:45, but that's not a big deal. I'm really excited to finally be doing this challenge. I'm going to show you the books I'm going to be choosing from that I'm hoping to get to. I'll probably end up reading 2, maybe 3, because I have one that's started, but I don't know, we'll see. So on my Kindle, I'm already in the middle of the 7-year slip. I'm only 36% into it, so I still have most of it to go, but I am loving this book so far. I'll tell you more of my thoughts as we go through the readathon. I'm definitely going to start with that one and finish it off before we move on to these next books. Choices for today are these 3 books. I have Daisy Hates, which this is part of the Magnolia Park series. This is the second book, and the first one I did like, but it was just so toxic to the point where it got annoying, but it was really fun. Like, if you like Gossip Girl, you will probably like this series. It is very entertaining, to say the least. But the thing is, I read the first book a while ago, so I feel like I would need to reread it before I go on to this one, and I just don't know if I'm in the mood to do that today. I've also heard people like this book more than the first one. People love this series. I want to give it more of a chance. Like, I did still enjoy the first book. It annoyed me, but I definitely want to continue this series, so this is one option. Next is by the same author. We have Once Upon a Broken Heart and Caraval. I don't know which one I want to read more. To be honest, this one kind of interests me more just because I've seen more about it and I think I've seen more love for this book. But also, I think you're supposed to read this one before you get to this series. Like, you don't have to, but you're supposed to. The way I'm going to do this is I am not going to take breaks in this readathon, meaning if I don't read, like, the timer's still gonna go on. That's kind of a problem when I go for my appointment. I obviously will not be reading. That's fine though. I just want to see how much I can read in 24 hours on top of everything that I'm doing, which is not a lot. I'm gonna try to stay up. I don't want to ruin my sleeping schedule too much just because school starts next week. It's currently 11:54. I wanted to start at 12, but we're really just gonna start right now. And this is gonna go until 12 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna start it. I need to get reading. Okay, hi, it's cold in the basement and I've gotten cozy. We're about an hour into the readathon and I'm 48% into this book. I'm really enjoying this. There's just something so wholesome about this romance book. It's just such a sweet story and I'm almost halfway through. I'm really curious to see where this is going to go. I got a little snackish, so I got a snack. I'm gonna have some Miss Vicky's chip. The honey Dijon ones are so good. I'm gonna snack on these and continue reading. I'm currently 70% into the 7-year slip, which I just realized I never even said what this book was about. So in case you haven't heard about this book, it's basically about this girl who has an apartment. It's a magical apartment where you can time travel when you go into it, but you can't choose to time travel. It just happens sometimes. She moves into this apartment who used to be her aunt's apartment. One day, a man just appears there, which is kind of like scary, but it's because she time traveled 7 years back, which is always the same amount of time that you time travel when you're in this apartment. And it's basically a romance book about their story, but also about their personal lives. And I really like when romance books feel like general fiction, when there's more to the plot than just the romance and there's other aspects of the characters' lives that are being explored, which this book is doing very well. Like, I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. It's touching on burnout and also how it's okay for your dreams to change, which I think is just something we can all relate to at least a little bit. And when I started reading this book, it was right away 4-star feeling just because the writing was good, it was engaging. But when I got to the 60-ish% mark, I'm thinking it's gonna be a 5-star read just because something about it so sweet. Like, it's just a sweet story. It's just parts that are kind of relatable. I really feel a connection to the characters, which is what I feel like I need in order to rate a book 5 stars. Also, I don't want to spoil anything, but just for trigger warnings, the book does discuss suicide, but I think it's doing it in a really good way. Like, we haven't gotten into it that much, but that is in this book. If that's something you don't want to read about, I wouldn't pick this up, but I think it's doing a really good job, and I'm just really excited to see where this goes. Anyways though, I am getting pretty hungry, so I think I'm gonna go have some lunch. I'm just gonna keep reading afterwards. I'm hoping that I can finish this book before I have to leave for my appointment. That would feel like a really good accomplishment, and then when I get back I can start a new book for the night. I just finished The 7-Year Slip. Oh my gosh, it was so good. 5 stars. If you have not read this book, okay, by the way, how cute are these flowers? Anyways, if you have not read this book, please read it. The writing is so good. The themes in it, like, because the romance was good and sweet, but then there was still things and themes in the book that I feel like everyone can relate to. And I really like the reader's guide at the end of the book, how it talked about like change and books being a time capsule. There's a lot more. I don't want to spoil anything. Not that that's a spoiler, like that's after the book is finished, but I just think this is a very good book, and I do not give 5 stars easily. Like, my expectations for a 5-star are very high. The fact that this is 5 stars means something. Last year, I did not have many 5-star rating books, which is fine, but this year is already off to a much better start. This is what the timer is looking at, so we're just over 3 hours into the readathon, and we've already finished our first book, so I'm feeling really good about that. I have an appointment to go to now, so that's gonna take like 2 hours out of this readathon just because of travel time, and then the appointment itself is 1 hour, but it's okay. But before I start talking about this book, just because I loved it so much, one other thing I thought that was so likable about it is the fact that it just talked about so many things that I feel like everyone likes. You know, like travel, who doesn't like travel? She works as a publicist in books, so I feel like every reader is gonna like that, like gonna be into book publishing. And just a bunch of hobbies like cooking and painting and all of that is super fun. I also like the setting. It was set in New York. There's one book recommendation you take from this video, please let it be The 7-Year Slip. One other thing before I stop talking about this book, I know I said I was going to stop talking about it, but like obviously I love it. I have 2 books that felt really similar to this book, The 7-Year Slip, that I enjoyed, and that I think if you like The 7-Year Slip and you're looking for something kind of similar, I think these 2 books are similar. And the first one is The No-Show. I rated this 4 stars, so I didn't like it as much as I liked The 7-Year Slip, but I still really, really enjoyed it. And it's not the same in like the time travel aspect. I don't think this even had time travel, if I remember correctly, but something about the writing and the storytelling just really reminds me of The 7-Year Slip. And I feel like they're so similar, even though they're so different at the same time, like they're so similar. And I think this cover is so cute. Something about this, like I just like the pink roses and the pink with the blue. Anyways, read this. Also, if you liked The 7-Year Slip, I think you would like anything by Abby Jimenez. I have no idea how you say her name, but the one book I've read by her is, I don't even remember what it's called, but I'll put it up here. It's the yellow cover, and it was very good. I also gave it 4 stars, but again, it just had the similar vibes of The 7-Year Slip, where it had romance, but then it had a plot outside of that, and it very much explored other aspects of their lives. Let me know what you think, and if anyone has any other recommendations for books that are similar to The 7-Year Slip, please share. Because so far it's my favorite book of 2025. I only read 2 books this year so far, but still. So I just got back from my cosmetology appointment and I did a facial, so my skin is very red and irritated, so please just ignore that. That appointment took so long because of traffic. I lost 3 hours of the readathon, which is not ideal, but the readathon continues. I came back and started reading Caraval, however you say that, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm only 45 pages in, but I don't know, it's so much fun. It just has the YA feels from like 2016 Booktube. That's very specific, but this is how it feels. And it's very entertaining already. I'm actually excited to be reading this. I feel like YA can be very much hit or miss. And since I'm 21 now, I feel like more often it is a miss, just because it's not bad, but like I kind of grew out of it. But I'm having a lot of fun with this, so I'm excited to see where it goes. It's like a circus vibe. I don't know too much about this, but it's about these two sisters who go to a magical circus, I believe, and then if you win the competition you get a wish, something like that. I don't really know, I don't understand what's going on. I'm only 45 pages in, but I searched up videos on TikTok before I started this about like the aesthetic of Caraval, and that got me excited about it, and now I'm very into it. So I'm really happy with what I chose as my next read. I'm not going to discuss these books in specifics just because I don't want to spoil them for anyone who hasn't read them, but I'm not far into this one. I'm 80 pages into it, so moving forward I'm not gonna share like a lot of thoughts unless, you know, not spoil it, because in reading vlogs, I like when they explain what they're feeling and share a bit about what the book is about, but I hate when they give spoilers. And yeah, technically it's not a spoiler, but then it ends up being like a really big hit. And then when you're reading the book, then you're like, okay, well, I know what's gonna happen in like 10 pages. So that kind of takes the fun out of it. I just want to share some of my predictions for this book because I may be wrong, so I don't think that's a spoiler, but if you do want to skip this part, if you like going into books knowing absolutely nothing, then skip to this time. What I've read so far, this is in the first couple pages. Tella, the sister, kissed the guy Julian. So I was like, okay, so this is probably going to be her love interest. But then everything that's happened, I really believe he's going to be Scarlett's love interest because he already has a nickname for her. He's called her Love, and they're kind of fake dating. By name only. But he has to be her love interest, okay? Oh, and the boat scene is all I will say. Now, this is a prediction. I don't know if this is going to happen. I haven't even met the character Legend. But what I predict is going to happen is that there's going to be like sort of a love triangle where she's going to have to choose between Legend and Julian, but I think she's going to go with Julian in the end, and Legend is kind of going to be like a distraction or just not for her. I don't know, but that's my prediction 80 pages into this trilogy, so we'll see if I'm right. I'm excited to see, and I'm gonna continue reading. It's kind of a page turner. I don't want to stop reading. Currently 8:18, so we still have a lot of time to read.
Hello, it's getting late, so I have to talk kind of quieter because people in my house are starting to go to bed. But I'm about halfway into this book, and something kind of crazy just happened. I didn't see this coming. Somewhere in the beginning of this book, I kind of had like a glimpse of this thought, of this possibility of a plot twist, and it happened, but I feel like it's a cop-out. I feel like it's a fake out because we're only halfway through and some of the things don't line up. I don't know what to believe. This book is actually really good at, not that the narrator isn't reliable, because she is, but she's just as confused as we are. This is a solid 4 stars as of right now. I don't think it'll be 5 stars just because YA books don't make me think that deep, which either thinking deeply or relatability is kind of required for me to have 5-star rating, or just like loving the characters, like found family and absolutely loving the characters, like 6 of Crows, that was 5 stars. This is a very good 4 stars solid read. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm like very pleasantly surprised because I've heard people not love this as much, even though I also heard a lot of good things. I've heard a lot of people just not really get into it, but I'm getting into it. Finishing up this book and I have so many thoughts. I have less than stuff, so I have this much left, and oh my gosh, the psychological, like, I hate this. This is pissing me off. This specific part is pissing me off. Page 336 and a couple pages back. You guys, I don't like it. Like, it's good. No, it is good. But it's annoying, which it's meant to be. But like, are you serious? Are you serious? I'm actually really enjoying this. How the heck? How is there gonna be 2 more books? How is this a trilogy? I feel like this is a good, fun book. It's entertaining. There's like mystery elements, whatever. But I feel like this would be a great standalone. Like, what could possibly happen in 2 more books? I don't know. I guess I'll find out. But as of right now, I don't get where this is going. Which scares me. Because I've read a good amount of fantasy series. The end of the book is where everything has to fall apart for there to be a next book. And I just don't like where this is going. I'm gonna continue reading though. I am so tired. I want to go to bed. It's currently 12:44 in the morning. Let me tell you about the book I just finished. Caraval, whatever. I just finished it. This was so much fun. I will say the ending is just like the tiniest bit disappointing for me, at least. I think this book had a lot of good twists. It was a lot of fun because you really just didn't know where it was going. It was like a good mystery with a bit of fantasy. There was a lot of twists that I didn't see coming, and there were some that I did see coming, but all of the twists did kind of have like a YA feel to it, so this is definitely a YA book, but it's very enjoyable still. Like, I had a fun time reading it, and I think this is such a good book to read if you want to do a readathon because it's so fast-paced. Am I really tired, or am I saying that wrong? Fast-paced. Anyways, this is a really good book for a readathon, or if you're in a reading slump, I feel like this would be good too, just because of how much is going on. This was a lot of fun. It's still going to be 4 stars for me. I think I will continue the series, but I do believe that this could have been just a really good standalone. But also, I don't know, I haven't read the next book. Just the ending, I was kind of expecting more, I think. Otherwise, I do recommend this. Okay, you guys, I know the purpose of a readathon is to read for the whole 24 hours, and I know a lot of people try to stay up for the whole 24 hours, but I do not have it in me today, so I'm gonna go get ready for bed, and then I will still read before bed, but I just think I'll be too tired to record. So I will see you tomorrow with more updates. So I accidentally slept in today. Yeah, I know. To recap, I went to sleep last night around 1:30 a.m. I just got so tired I could not keep my eyes open, which I know you're supposed to stay up for the 24 hours to read, but this is just how much I'm reading organically. I did my little morning routine, I've had breakfast. I tried to be quick about everything just so we can salvage the last couple hours of the readathon. There's about 2 hours left, and we need to start a new book because we finished Caraval last night. I don't know what I'm feeling. Like, I've been looking around at my bookshelf for the past 5-10 minutes, and I can't decide what I'm in the mood for. I'm not really in the mood for anything, and I'm very much a mood reader. What I'm gonna pick up is Anxious People. I've heard a lot of good things about this author. It's just a little bit of a different genre because I read romance, and then I read YA fantasy, and this is a literary fiction, so I think that'll be a good change of genre. But yeah, I don't really know much about this other than the author is really well loved, so I'm hoping I love this, and I'm just gonna stop talking and start reading. Let's see how far we can get into this book.
officially done now. I didn't want to share any of my thoughts on this book during those last 2 hours because I was just trying to read as much as I could before the timer ended, but I do have some thoughts about this book and I'm not sure how I feel about it so far. To be honest, it's kind of 3 stars, which is still fine. 3 stars is something I don't regret reading and I still enjoyed to an extent, but there's just some things missing, especially at the beginning. I did not like the writing. Like it's just a little bit odd, which some people might enjoy, but to me it wasn't my favorite. And then also just the way the characters acted. Like, I know there's such a thing as great characters or annoying characters, and that's kind of the point. Especially in this book, I think they're meant to be not perfect, which is fine. I don't have anything against that. But it just doesn't even make sense to me, like, why they would act like that. Specifically in professional settings, like, all the characters in their jobs act weird. And I get that everyone has things going on and they're not going to be perfect, but I feel like even if you have things in your life outside of work happening, to a certain extent, when you come to work, you pull yourself together, or not even pull yourself together, but like you act normally or normal-ish. Just the way they're interacting does not make sense to me. Are you really going to talk like that in your job and act like that? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Something about this book I just am not loving, but despite all that, I still want to continue it and finish it and see where it goes. So I don't know. I got to page 132. That's about a third into the book, so things can still change. I'm not hating it, but I'm not sure about this one. Maybe because I had higher expectations, but it's just not my favorite as of right now. As a recap of everything I read this reading challenge, I finished The 7-Year Slip on my Kindle, which was 5 stars. That was the best book I read this readathon. I then started and finished Caraval, which I had so much fun. Like, is this the best literature out there? No, but it's entertaining. And then I started Anxious People and got about a third way into it. I'm very happy with how much I got through. But yeah guys, I'm gonna end it off there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye guys!